it's the Netty kitties back in the kitchen again. Now I thought I'd show you, as I'm into free from baking and learning about it, I've been trying to make a loaf of bread at home and having not much success really. So I thought I'd try this. It's from a brand called Orgran, and I've used their egg replacer in the past before. I don't know if this is something that's available around the world, but something tells me it's in a lot of the world because it's so many different countries and translations here for the recipe. Now I thought I'd give it a go and see what it's like. I'm going to try it with yeast because I'd like to see what it does with a good rise. Now every recipe I've seen has got egg in and they seem to be too cakey. This one hasn't. It's just literally the mix here which I've got ready. I've measured out, can't speak today, measured out 5 grams of yeast, and I'm going to activate that with this water, which isn't boiling and it isn't too cold. You've got a sweet spot of where you have your water to activate the yeast. That should go all frothy, hopefully, and that means that it can be used and it's active. So I'm going to follow the instructions, which is the 450 grams I realise makes the 1 loaf in the pack. So compared to a bought loaf in the shop, it's about the same, if not a little bit more if you're paying for packaging, which I didn't with this, I got it on Amazon. So you add your warm water and yeast. There's the oil which I've used to grease my tin ready. You've got to have that ready and pour it in straight away. And then you leave it to prove for just under an hour. So fingers crossed, shall see what it's like. I shall show you what it's like before we prove it, and we'll join you back there. I've got the bread mix in there, and that says now, got it in the container, and you prove that for 40 to 50 minutes, but it does say 28 to 32, which is quite specific if you're doing it with yeast. So I'll come back in half an hour, see what that's like. It doesn't say whether to put a towel on it or to put cling film, so as it's the case it doesn't say either. I shall leave it like that. It's got a consistency of a very sticky mashed potato. Shall see what that's like anyway. I don't sound very hopeful, do I? But I've had nothing but bad luck with bread, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be the one that is perfect. So hopefully. Apparently it makes pizza bases, dinner rolls, on top of many other types, and you go onto their website, I'll put a link in the description. It's an Australian owned company apparently. So there you go, that's the cover. You can freeze it and then thaw it, which is brilliant as well. Let's leave that to prove for half an hour, see what happens. Fingers crossed. So here's the finished loaf. I've just took it out of the tin I was cooking it in. Now it does look a bit anemic, but I think with this brand, Orgran, that's northern for my nan, that is. Orgran, right, stop being silly. Now, it does look a bit anemic, but this brand, I have used them before and I do trust them a lot because I've got an allergy to chicken egg. I've also got a dairy allergy and I can't eat gluten due to health reasons. So I find because it's egg, wheat, gluten and all those allergen free that they are a good product. But yeah, it does look a bit anemic, doesn't it? Like E.T. phone home. You know that bit where he's in the lake. But yeah, let's see the Paul Hollywood test. Beautiful. So yeah, we'll see. I suppose the proof of the pudding is in the eating. it did do a rise, so that's a good sign too. Obviously, I put my own yeast in. That's another thing that people have allergies and stuff too, so it's good that they didn't put yeast in. You can put that in if you want to or whatever. So I'm going to make some homemade soup and have a few slices of this, and we'll see what it tastes like. Hopefully it'll be a nice loaf. I think the thing that they've done right is when you make bread and you look at the ingredients, you're supposed to do a mix, not just one type of flour, and that is supposed to help. So they've used, if I can pop that there for you and I'll read it, maize starch, rice flour, tapioca starch, raisin agent, glucodelta-lactone, sodium bicarbonate, calcium carbonate, dextrose from maize, resistant maize starch, stabilizers, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. My goodness me, it sounds like a chemistry experiment more than anything, doesn't it? Methyl cellulose, vegetable gum, otherwise known as guar gum, potato fibre, emulsifier, mono and diglyceride of vegetable, salt, potato starch, yellow pea flour, sugar, natural colour, of which it doesn't really have much colour, and then citric acid. But wow, that's quite scary actually. But sometimes if you've got a different name for something, an ingredient, it's usually, oh, I know what that is. But some of them things, if you can't pronounce them, I prefer to make from scratch. So I'll still be working on a loaf from scratch, which I can make, because hopefully it'll be so much cheaper than buying it in the supermarket. So make my own vegetable soup now, of which I shall link a recipe for you down below, and we'll put that on a little time lapse of preparing the soup, and then I'm going to try this bread with all those yummy chemicals in. Oh dear. So this is the vegetable soup simmering away. I'm just going to leave it to get to boiling point and then lower it down. I added some butter to that, a knob of butter, excuse me French, and speaking of French, look at that, decent sized garlic bulb. What I tend to do is cut it in half and take the root out. I don't know if you've seen that or if it was too quick in the time lapse, but I find the house doesn't stink of garlic then, because that smell can last for days, and it's a much nicer, milder garlic taste, just to add a little bit of flavour. I think it just adds a nice extra element to the soup. So let's move that away from there. Some steamy windows. Lovely, that's coming to the boil now. So we'll just reduce that down to a gentle simmer. Oh, not turn it off completely like I just did. Yeah, so a clove of garlic, some butter and some olive oil. Obviously here I've used not actual olive oil. Italians are going to shout at me in the comments, but this is just one that I could get hold of, and it adds a nicer flavour than I find vegetable oil or that, but I do use sunflower oil to fry off the vegetables first, just to add a nice effect to the leeks. I think it's called the Maynard effect. I might have said that completely wrong. Anyway, what have I? Oh yeah, that's the other thing I added, is a vegetable bouillon powder. I don't put salt in because there's just enough with this in, and I find it makes the most delicious soups. Just for the sake of saying, I'm not sponsored or affiliated by any brands within this. It's just Marigold bouillon is, I think it's the bee's knees, not sponsored by anything here. I made my own homemade strawberry jam. How cool is that? Made my own label, being this is art. And yeah, so I thought I'd try adding vanilla, you know, an actual vanilla to it, not the vanilla essence or anything like that, a vanilla pod. And it just brings out, say if you got crap strawberries from the supermarket, or you can't get hold of really nice strawberries at a certain time of year, it brings out and adds a nice sweetness to your jam. So yeah, pectin, don't even ask how much sugar is in. Homemade jam, you can't beat it. It's so much different than when you buy in the supermarket. I live for making things from scratch. I'm not a cook or a chef or anything like that. I'm a little home baker, and I'm hoping that this will add another level to the art, something different, and encourage people to make stuff from scratch. It's not that hard. I think if I can do it, anyone can, and it tastes so much better, and you know what's going into it as well. So hence why I want to make my own bread, because you've seen the ingredients on that. As much as I love the brand, I'm like, what's all that stuff that's going in it? I'll make a lovely bread one day, hopefully. So here's the soup. Now then, I've tried the bread and it is delicious. It's got a lovely taste to it. I really recommend that. So it actually tastes of something rather than just cardboard, which is great. I'm just going to add some Alpro single soya for a cream of vegetable style swirly on the top there, like that. That's optional. Oh, I did add just a little two pinches of nutmeg to that soup as well. I'm just wondering, you probably won't notice it, but if it's good, I'll put it in the recipe below that you can download off my Any Art Netty page on Facebook. That's got all my DLC on it, colouring charts, all sorts of stuff like that, and now recipes that you can print off, and there's little pictures that you can colour in as well. So, I'm going to try this. I'm going to sit down for the evening, enjoy my soup, and hopefully let me know if you enjoyed the recipe as well. And I'll be eager to see you on my Facebook page too. It will be lovely to see you on my Facebook page too. So there's a little growing community on there of I think 29 members at the minute, which is really, really cool. I have got a page on Facebook as well, which is with the Netty Kitties, which has got more stuff on it, but the downloads page is basically just for downloads. So I'm going to enjoy my bowl of soup now, and I wish you a lovely evening or whatever time of the day it is where you are, and thank you very, very much for watching. Hello, and it's voiceover Netty now, doing some art based on the soup I made. So I'm drawing a leek. This is a picture of some still life that I've done. Now this outline will be available to download in the link below. That will link you to a group called Any Art Netty Downloads. Feel free to download whatever you want on there, there's loads of goodies. There'll also be a colouring sheet I've made especially for this video. You'll see them in a bit now once I've finished this piece of art. I also mess it up at the end, so I hope that gives you something to look forward to. I hope you also try the recipe. It's very easy, it's basically just pop everything in a pan and cook it, boil it. Very, very easy and very, very delicious. Another variation on that soup, if you don't want it so thick, is to add chopped plum tomato, in a can. If you prefer, it does add a lovely taste as well. I don't think I put the nutmeg in for that. Literally just put that in without using the chopped tomato because it brings out the sweetness in the carrots. It just adds something. You won't notice any nutmeg. It's just a very little amount and it brings out just that nice bit of sweetness. So especially if you get cheaper carrots, it will bring out a lovely flavour in them. So that's just a tip that I've learnt from, basically it's looking at different recipes and taking bits out of ones that I like and then adding my own variation on it as just a home baker who just likes to make things from scratch really, because it's easier then, you know exactly what's going into the recipe. And yeah, it does take a bit more effort and time and not as convenient maybe as a ready meal, but excuse my left hand there, right in the way. There was supposed to be another camera on the other side, but for some reason I failed to press record and it took a photo instead of a video. So but if you can bear watching that, is my left hand in the way. There you go, you'll see it when left hand is out of the way. So as for the soup I was making waste-wise, you'll notice that was going in a bag, that was going recycling. The idea is with the waste from the veg, you could use that in a stock maybe, or in your compost, or do like I do where we recycle all the choppings of veg and things like that, waste food. You'll notice I keep the skin on potatoes and carrots. It just adds that bit more fibre, a bit more flavour as well, but you can peel them if you prefer that. Some people might be completely grossed out by me keeping the potato skin on, but I think it adds a bit more flavour. I've learnt from doing this video now, when I've remade the soup, is to fry the onion, the garlic and the leek together first, then add the vegetables, and that's called a Maillard effect. I was saying about that. That's mostly like with gives brown food a distinctive flavour. Think of seared steak, bread, toasted marshmallows, that kind of thing. So yeah, and you'll notice I took the garlic root out as well, which is a good thing to do. It just adds a tiny bit of a garlic flavour. So yeah, and then the butter, bit of pepper, nutmeg. I don't really bother with salt, but you can add that if you want to. So here's the picture to download. You can change the opacity of that, so it's only a very faint line if you want to. There's a lot of apps, but if anyone needs any help with that, I'm more than happy to help and recommend a app or something on your PC to do that. It's easy enough. Here is a colouring sheet which will also be available in a link below. I'll put that on the Netty downloads page and also as a Google Drive. If there's anything else where people have any trouble with those too, let me know in the comments and I'll try. It's only a very small amount of viewers at the minute at the time of making this video, so I get very little comments and stuff, so I'm more than happy to help if there's another way that you can receive that picture to colour in. If you do colour it in, please let me know. This is the recipe you can also download as well, and I will also type that up with the extra added bits like the chopped plum tomatoes and stuff like that, so it will be available typed up, but that's the first version. This is also the colours that I used. That's Castle Art Supplies. If you want any variation on them colour pencils as well, just let me know in the comments, but that's your recipe swatch for colouring in those leeks. So these are, let me get the name for you, I wrote it down, Jane Davenport. They are mermaid markers. I thought I'd give them a try. This is the first time I've opened up that box. They remind me a bit of the Spectrum Noir Aqua pens, which are like kind of a watercolour. I think that leek drawing would actually look good as a watercolour as well, so do give that a try. The Spectrum Noir Aquas, I went to say it again, have got like a turquoise barrel on them. So I wasn't sure that's some kind of reservoir in that, but there's a little cap at the top I took off. I was completely confused. I was like, well, is there some instructions inside this box? There was, tucked away at the back of the pens themselves. So yeah, what I should have done, hindsight is brilliant, isn't it? Not stuck those pictures down there. You'll see the leek. There's a Farfetch, which is a Pokemon, and a Pokemon ball, because Farfetched carries round a leek with him. There's a massive story to that. I'm sure you'll be able to find it online. What I should have done was got a blank piece of paper, maybe watercolour paper, completely wetted that, for want of a better word, saturated it. What's the word? Someone let me know. Make that completely wet with water anyway, whatever the heck that's called. Oh dear. So, and then put the colour down on it. But I wasn't sure what was going to happen with these anyway, as I've never used them. It's not really something I use often. I'm mostly colour pencil, alcohol marker, and also oil paint. What else do I use? Acrylic paint, watercolour paint, but not in this way. I know of the technique where you do wet the paper first and then use the watercolour on top of it to create layers as it gets the opacity, you know. So yeah, and I'm not very pleased with this, but it's all part of learning, isn't it? And part of learning is making mistakes and trying different techniques. And yeah, I always seem to have a little bit of difficulty with what Jane Davenport products I've used. It's not really my niche, again, is that the right word? It's not really my niche, but they are fantastic products nonetheless, and I do recommend them. And it's just good to have a little play around with them and try different techniques. So it's no shade on Jane Davenport at all. I've done another video with a face, because she uses these art supplies which are like makeup, and she's very good at doing faces, portraits, but with all these different mad multimedia. Do you know what? My brain isn't working today. What's it called? Different mediums of paint and different types of art supplies, and oh, I got a blob on the leaf and I ruined it again. I can do it again and try different colour pencils. So again, if you want that swatch, it's in Castle Art Supplies, but if you want it in a different brand of colour pencils, let me know, or if you do try it in watercolour, show us. But yeah, it was worth a try, wasn't it? But I know where I've made a mistake, which is the good thing. If you know where you've made a mistake, you know that you can improve. So there we go. See you in the next video, and bye for now, and take care. Bye bye.